Hello, assembled listeners. This is the Weird World Podcast. I'm Dean.
I'm Eve. I'm Carrie.
Carrie is going to bring us something today. She's going to lead the way. And something that, of course, true to her form, she does not tell us anything about it whatsoever.
First,
yes,
we're going to do a little listener shout out.
Right on.
I keep meaning to do these and then I keep forgetting, but we're going to shout out Deborah D.
What's up, Deborah?
Is your last name just an initial, D-E-E? Are you not saying?
I'm not saying.
Okay.
It starts with a D. But she reached out to us. I got an email. She wants to be a Patreon.
Oh.
So, of course, she's our favorite right now. But also, it means she likes listening to us, which is always wonderful to hear. So we're going to start doing that, I think, regularly. So if you give us a good review and I happen to read it, then we'll mention you on the podcast.
Right on.
Okay. So here's what we're going to talk about.
You're not going to tell us?
Have you ever heard of the Leatherman?
Ooh. Okay. This could go in a lot of directions.
Sounds kind of scary.
Does it?
Yeah. Don't you think?
Some people might sound a little sexy.
Yeah, in different circles, it's got a different connotation.
Well, it also is the name of a handy dandy tool, the Leatherman tool.
That's a tool?
Uh-huh.
There's a person who uses the tool.
No,
It's an interesting way to describe a sex toy.
I think it's the name of the company, but it's like one of those multi-tools. It's got a screwdriver and a hammer and a corkscrew.
And it's called the Leatherman?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Do you think they get a lot of misdirected
probably
traffic on their website?
Oh,
probably?
100%.
Okay.
Well, we are talking about a real live human being
Called the Leatherman?
called the Leatherman.
Isn't there a Leatherman like a movie franchise murder or something like that? Called No? Nothing?
Leatherface, I think
Yeah.
is his name.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking
That
of.
sounds familiar.
Okay.
This does sound like it should be
Yeah.
Texas
a Halloween
Chainsaw
World.
Massacre.
Yeah, is that Leatherface?
I think it's Leatherface.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is too.
This
But
is a different. This is like a cousin or is no?
No.
Okay.
Probably no relation.
No relation.
This one also is not scary whatsoever.
Oh, well.
Well,
But there is going to be some kind of Sasquatch activity or.
radioactive
Maybe.
Yeti.
Oh, okay.
Well, around the time of the Civil War, like around 1860-ish, there were
Starting a timeline. Go ahead.
there were lots of men kind of just wandering around the countryside,
Just vibing.
Chilling out.
Soldiers.
Waiting for a war to start.
displaced soldiers.
Wait, 1860 displaced soldiers? That seems.
Oh, that's true. They couldn't be.
No.
Well, maybe afterwards they were.
Should I put 1866 or something like that? Or
Well, nah, we're going to
Okay.
start it
All
around
right.
1860. But
right.
they were wandering around looking for work on farms and such, maybe looking for a meal, place in a barn to sleep for the night. I don't know, was the country going through some sort of depression around then?
in 1860?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Apparently this was happening.
Okay. All right. See, after the war, it makes a little more sense.
I know. That's why
Yeah.
I initially thought that.
Okay.
But yeah, this is
Especially
before the war.
Can we
Confederate
just start
soldiers.
up and pretend it was right after the war? This has to be before Civil War?
Yeah,
Okay.
Alrighty.
Then we're going to go 1866. We're going to start over. Everybody assumes she said 1866.
Well-
Go. If there was a caption when the story started, it would say 1860 question mark, and then Carrie's
Yeah.
narration would start. Go ahead.
Okay. Geographically speaking, we are located in Westchester County,
Ooh, Westchester.
New York. And apparently, I know nothing of Westchester County. Sorry, East Coast listeners.
It's north of New York City. It's like
You know
the,
nothing of
suburban kind of, sort of, but it's up there.
Yeah.
Like you move to Westchester, maybe you do take the train into the city for work still. I don't know. I feel like that's a thing.
Well, this is our
That's you
general
have a
area.
family, so you move up there to a house.
Westchester County, Fairfield County, which is Connecticut, I believe.
Yeah.
It's that general area. But Westchester apparently has quite a few urban legends and spooky stories, ghost stories, murder stories.
Go
like
Westchester.
the cannibal albinos
Ooh.
of Westchester.
Wow.
We need to
that
hear
just
more. You can't just
seems-
gloss over that.
Pretty interesting, huh?
Okay.
Apparently, if you stop in front of a certain red house on Buckout Road in
Great
West
name.
Harrison and you beep the horn 3 times,
Okay.
the albinos will come out and attack you.
That
Flesh-eating albinos.
well, yeah, cannibal albinos.
They're
I guess.
people,
We're saying.
by the
unless
way.
they're like albino tigers, in which case it's kind of okay. Does that not never get annoying to the people who live on that Buckout Road?
Yeah, I don't know.
So this is going to go on the list of Weird World Tour.
I know. Yeah.
We'll do that right after. What else is up in that area? We'll think of something. We're not too far from West Virginia to see the Mothman, of course.
Yep, and probably the New Jersey Devil.
There you go. After the Mothman, go to Jersey Devil, and then to the Cannibal Albinos of Westchester County. Got it.
Well, we're not talking about albino cannibals who will attack you if you honk your horn at them. We're talking about something, because, that's probably not true.
Seems kind of
right.
rude.
Don't be so hasty. We're not talking about albino cannibals.
Well, our story is true, and this is the true story of the Leatherman. He doesn't have a name. I mean, I'm sure he did have a name, but we don't know his name. He just wandered around Westchester and Fairfield counties in a very long loop while he lived in local caves.
Oh, and this is okay. Well, you already established we don't know when this is, but it's sometime around 1860,
I will tell you when.
1866.
You know what?
Okay.
This lifestyle appeals to me.
Yeah, caves is the cave part or the wandering loop?
The wandering loop and just vibing in caves. Yeah.
I feel like caves are not quite as a fun place to live as you might
It's
think.
probably got crystals in there already.
It's got a lot of bat
true.
poop in it. I'm assuming.
I feel one
generally-
with bats.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's getting better.
Maybe
then.
you do,
I want to
but
get another bat tattoo.
in my experience, caves generally stink of urine.
Really? You've been in a lot of caves, huh?
A few.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just learning this about you.
Yeah.
You've been in a few caves, multiple caves in your life.
Yeah.
I cannot say
some
for a
caves.
fact I've been in a cave in my entire life.
Not on a
I
hike.
just don't feel like I have. Not like a deep cave where you can go
How about a beach?
spelunking and shit. Like maybe
Well,
an
yeah,
overhang
neither
or
have
something
I.
like that. I mean, a cave where there's going to be like bats.
Yeah.
And as you say, the smell of urine.
Stalagmites.
Dank smell, stalagmites. I've never seen a stalagmite or a stalactite
Well,
in my
I-
life. Not sure which goes down, which goes up.
I think stalagmite goes up.
I haven't
Could
been in
be
that
wrong.
kind of cave.
Well, then what are you talking about?
Caves in Arizona,
All right.
the river.
And how
The
deep?
river
How
in
deep is this cave
Arizona.
you've been
Stink.
into?
Deep enough to be very dark and scary.
Okay. All right. You know what? I take that back. I think I was in a semi-deep cave in Texas, in East Texas.
There you go.
Not super deep. And again, no stalactites, stalagmites, and no albino creatures that used to be human but have evolved
No.
to eat people like they all do in caves one
You
day.
know what? Most abundant food source. That's the next natural way to go.
There you go.
We should be
I think
scared.
she's advocating cannibalism.
Not
but
of
I'm not.
albinos, people, but
Well, the
something
Leatherman
else.
was most likely born around 1839-ish,
1939.
but he was first spotted around 1857. He made his route between the Connecticut and Hudson rivers, and he was called the Leatherman because of the way he dressed.
And I'm going to say leather.
Head to toe.
Assless chaps.
Oh.
Head to toe
Assless traps.
in a very heavy, handmade
Ooh.
leather suit, leather pants, shirt, jacket, scarf, hat, and boots.
You know what? That
So
would
ahead of his time.
cost a fortune from like Gucci.
But
Yeah,
there are
it's just-
certain bars where that'd be very popular.
Well,
Exactly.
apparently he probably made it himself of old boot tops sewn together with leather laces.
Yeah.
And leather laces are kind of flat, and he was very particular and meticulous. The laces always had to lay flat. They would never be twisted.
I'll take your word for it.
He was
I don't
going
know.
for a patchwork look.
It was very
was.
patchwork.
I love it.
You
Did
would love
he-
it too. I would love it too.
How do they know? I mean, he could have killed some squirrels and stuff like that and leathered them up. Leathered
I
them
feel
up?
like that's a long process, and you have to set it out, and you can't
Yeah.
live your nomadic lifestyle.
That's true. So he just got shoes and stuff like that. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Apparently, his suit weighed about 60 pounds.
Jesus.
Holy moly!
And
Yeah.
stink
And,
horrifically.
yeah, it probably didn't smell real great.
No.
He wore it year round, every single day, even in the hottest summer days.
And he just had the one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's nasty.
Yum.
Yep.
We're not going to do a scratch and sniff episode in this one. That's all I'm saying. Oh, no.
Yeah.
So even though he probably looked kind of scary, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, leather face looking thing.
Might have anything on his face.
Yeah, did he
He
have
may
a
have been a
mask?
perfectly handsome man.
He could have had a little hat for the sun.
a well-coiffed beard, I'm
He
assuming.
did have a hat. He probably was not well coiffed.
Oh, well.
Oh.
But he turned out to be very harmless.
Yeah.
And he was actually very gentle.
Wow.
He was just fashion forward.
A letter or a article from the Burlington Free Press dated April 7th, 1870 says the leather-clad man rarely spoke, usually only in monosyllables, in grunts and gestures, and it seemed like he was only capable of some broken English.
So he may have been
So-
a foreigner originally. German, I'm going to say, given the outfit, let's go German or Scandinavian.
Aaron, what's your guess?
No clue. Maybe he just didn't like talking. I was gonna say. I don't know. He just seems like a weird dude
I don't think
driving with this shit.
He definitely didn't like talking,
Exactly.
which is why he mostly grunted. He probably didn't understand a whole lot of English either, but he was fluent in one language.
And they know what language that was?
Yes.
And that language was Iceland. No, I'm getting
French.
French. Really? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So he could say things like omelette du fromage.
Probably.
And la biblioteca. Wait, no, wait.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Ce soir.
Ce soir.
Apparently, he had a French prayer book in his very few possessions. So the rumors were that he was originally from France or maybe French
Quebec.
Canada. Yes.
Yeah, maybe
He was a Quebecois.
he was a French fur trapper.
Maybe.
Possibly. Also,
That's where he got the leather.
he
Yeah,
wouldn't
makes
eat
sense.
meat on Fridays.
Well, so he's Catholic.
So they assumed
but
he was
he's
Roman
French, so
Catholic.
not a shock.
His route that he walked was a huge clockwise circle. It was about 365 miles through Westchester, southern Putnam, and western Fairfield counties. And there's a whole bunch of cities that he would stop in along the way. If you're interested, I think there's like 40 of them. You can,
I want you to name right now. List every one of them.
No.
No.
I mean, I
tour.
can list some, but it would be very boring. Because if you live in one, I'm sure you already know all about the Leatherman. Leatherman.
Presumptuous.
So that's what he did. He walked this 365 mile loop. Just
Yep.
that's it.
Yep.
All year long.
Yep.
How many would he do in a year?
Every day.
Do they know?
What
Like
do you
how long
mean?
would it take him to do the loop, the full 365 miles? curious.
I will tell you in a moment.
Okay.
His loop was about 240 miles through Connecticut and 125 miles through New York. He could do this entire 365-mile circuit in about a month, a little bit longer.
Wow.
He'd stop off for supplies and he would return to each town that he would stop in. He had regular stops
Yeah.
every about 34 days.
So he's like doing like 12 miles a day. Assuming he's doing it every single day,
He's
but he
like
might
a-
take some rest here and there.
He's a weird period.
He's what now? No. Werewolf? No. I just threw it out there. I don't know
He's
why.
the month. Oh, my monthly's here, and a man clad in leather shows up. Yeah.
That's how you keep track. In fact, now there's a 10K called the Leatherman's Loop
Oh.
held
Nice.
A 10K
Every
that
year.
for 365 miles. I think the organizers of this race do not understand distance.
well,
That's what I'm saying.
you can't have a 365 mile
Absolutely
race.
can. An ultra marathon. That would be, you know what? If you live there, do this now. Start it.
Yeah, that would be kind of nice.
Make a TV show about it.
Yep.
And he was very regular.
Oh, wait, hold on. Everybody who races has to dress all in leather, weighing at least 60
Exactly.
pounds.
Could you
Boom.
imagine?
If you can do it, they can do it.
Normally, if he was very regular. If he would normally stop at your house at 10, he would be there around 10, give or take 5 or 10 minutes
Wow.
on
So,
whatever day
well,
he was supposed to arrive.
Yeah, then that does imply that he was literally doing every day, or at least if he took Sundays off, he'd always take every single Sunday off or something like that, right?
Yeah, probably.
Huh.
And in fact, he was so regular that if he had gotten off schedule for some reason, it was newsworthy and it would be reported in the news.
Well, newsworthy in 1870s, yes, because anything was newsworthy.
This is 1886, June 23rd to be example. The New Haven Daily Palladium reported.
So that's just one example. Okay. Never mind. I wanted to draw your attention to that because when we listen to this later on, you're going to be angry at me for not saying something about it when you said to be example instead of.
Yeah.
I said that.
Yeah, that's fine. No, it's fine, but I didn't want you to be angry. So right now, you're listening and you're less angry at me than you would have been when we're listening to this after we
But
take
it's
this.
just not funny.
No, it's not, but
To
that
be
would have happened.
example.
I'm positive.
For example,
Sounds like a bot trying a bot wrote like an essay. To be example, you can see in Exhibit 1-3.
here's what they reported. The Leatherman passed westward Tuesday an hour and 1/2 later than usual time.
Jesus.
Again, there was nothing that was not newsworthy in the 1880s.
Pretty
This
much.
is pre-internet. I don't remember that.
He managed to survive blizzards and hard weather. And by, like you said, sleeping in caves and other shelter and building fires.
Did no one ever put him up for a night? Let him sleep in the barn or something like that?
He stopped by local farmhouses looking for food. And like I said, it was so regular, people usually knew when he was going to arrive. In fact, many women would bake an extra loaf of bread just for him and give it to him.
So is that kind of how he lived? Kind of, food and...
Pretty much.
Okay.
He did have some means of his own.
Did he do like odd jobs? Like he'd fix your toaster or something
No.
like that in 1886 when
No.
he didn't have a toaster? Okay. Or even
Teach your
electricity?
child piano.
Yes, would he do that?
Nope.
He stunk.
And he couldn't communicate very well, obviously.
Well, he could teach people French.
True.
Or at least
But
French
he
grunts.
didn't.
Oh.
I don't think he didn't sound like he wanted to talk to people all that much.
Well,
Yeah.
but he'd take their bread
He
and
had
sleep in their barn.
Places to go, things to do.
All right.
He had a route. He had
All
a
right,
schedule he had
Leatherman.
to keep to. But there was a woman, Miss Louise Bouton.
Go on.
She was born in
in
1889.
Okay. 1889?
Yeah.
Oh, well, this is going to get gross.
No,
This is going
it's
to be
not.
a May, September.
No, this is her recalling
Oh,
that the
okay.
Leatherman would come around once a year, always to the east side of the house. He would knock on the leader drain pipe, and Mother would give him coffee and some sandwiches.
Oh.
He would say, "Thank you so much, lady."
In
So
English.
He could say that, apparently.
Interesting.
But he would never look at you.
Oh.
And she said he was dressed in all in brown leather, like we know, and that no one was afraid of him. Some schools would, as like a motivation for their students to work really hard, would allow the best student to go outside and give him food when he passed on, quote, Leatherman Day.
Oh, my God. Leatherman Day.
So
They
knew-
wanted to be the Leatherman
That would be-
delivery.
I'd be like, remember when you wanted to be the AV person when it went bing, you got to push it forward. You got to click
Yep.
the thing and let the film strip go one frame forward. It's like that, only
was fun.
once a month.
And so he was basically like, a little local celebrity in these towns.
I could see how he would have been like a boogeyman. Like he could have, if he
it
ever hurt
could've,
anybody,
yeah.
he could have easily turned nasty. Or even
Yeah.
not hurt anybody. I'm a little bit surprised it didn't they turn him into some kind of a boogeyman because he's different. Everybody fears
Exactly.
differentness.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was, like they said, he was very gentle and nice, but...
So was Frankenstein before he killed that little girl. So it happens.
who?
Frankenstein.
Oh.
The monster, actually.
I thought you
Read
said
the
Frankenstein.
book.
God, Carrie, come on.
Apparently, though, somewhere on his route, little, local school kids were like shouting at him and throwing rocks at him.
That's not cool.
And so the most aggressive he ever got was like shaking his cane at him.
Hell yeah.
Except for a few kids who did disappear.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to
Well,
suggest anything, but
10 different villages in Connecticut actually passed local ordinances that specifically exempted him from the Connecticut's anti-vagrancy tramp law. I guess it was illegal to not have a place to live and
Wow.
Just like it is now.
yeah.
wander about.
So you couldn't wander through. You couldn't wander through town in Connecticut.
Nope.
No?
Damn.
Can't do that now. We don't have a house. Yeah.
But you do.
Well, once
And
in
then they get arrested.
1888, the Connecticut Humane Society actually had him arrested.
Doesn't sound very humane. I
Yeah,
think.
it's fucked up.
Well, they had him arrested and hospitalized.
Oh,
I think they were worried about him.
that he might have been on the spectrum.
Well, funny that you say that, because that is what some people think.
Well, yeah, special interest doesn't like to talk. Think about it.
I think they were also just worried that, you
Yeah.
know, maybe there was health-wise or something.
Or maybe he's getting older by now. It's going to be tough to walk in live in caves. It's not caves are for young people.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying let's make all young people live in caves. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Well, so he was hospitalized for a bit, but he was found to be, quote, sane except for an emotional affliction.
What is that?
And he was released.
They need to be a little more specific about that.
I don't know what they mean by that.
He
But
was
do you
a
think they
little
meant
sensitive.
something? It sounds like they knew what they meant, but they didn't want to say it.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yep.
Maybe his heart was broken before he started on his wandering, and that's why he started on his wandering.
He could have been.
Yeah.
But they
back in
said
Quebecois, he had a little lady named Marie.
he
They fell in
decided
love, and she killed herself. I don't know. I'm
there are some stories about
Maybe he
his
just
the
didn't like people.
possibility of his background. He just wanted freedom, and apparently he had the money to travel, so he was let out of the hospital and able to go on his way. How he had money, though, nobody really knew, because nobody ever reported giving him money.
Well, he probably stole
Investments.
and he stole it from the
Mutual
children he
funds.
murdered. Maybe I'm going darker than mutual funds.
One local store kept a record of his usual resupply order, which he paid for in person when he picked it up. 1 loaf of bread, a can of sardines, 1 pound of fancy crackers,
Yum.
a pie, 2 quarts of coffee, 1 gill of brandy. Not sure what a gill is.
It's about 14 ounces. I have no idea. I'm just throwing, no one knows. So,
And a bottle of beer.
oh,
And apparently,
how long was that going to last him?
well, it didn't matter probably because it just lasted him however long he needed it to because people would give him food.
That's
you
true.
know?
I
And
don't like sardines.
No, me neither.
Yeah, I don't vibe with fish that come in a can.
Yeah, but you know what? He knew he needed his protein.
Yep. And also, nobody seems to think that he ever fished or hunted or, you know, got any food on his own.
You think he would? You think there'd be some
You have to.
opportunities to get some game out
There
there?
might
Although
have
he's
been.
moving all the time, so it couldn't be like traps and things like that. He
Yeah.
would not be able to. So there goes the whole French fur trapper thing. I
Yep.
don't think that's happening.
And they think the only thing that he ever prepared for himself was coffee.
He would buy beautiful Jamaican Blue Mountain French Wait, doesn't make any sense.
He had a little French press
Yes,
that
he
he carried
did.
around.
He did. He was particular about his coffee.
Well, he also enjoyed tobacco products.
Well, that's not cool.
Yeah.
How European.
People would
Very
give him
European.
cigarettes and stuff like that.
Well, that's a terrible gift. That's maybe the worst gift in the world.
Yeah.
to give. That and meth.
Well, on March 24th, 1889, his body was found.
No.
in a-
Everybody always dies in your stories, Carrie.
well,
That's fucked up.
did you think he might still be alive?
Yes, I did.
People should live forever.
We're just,
In a Sawmill Woods cave in Mount Pleasant. This was on the farm of somebody named George Dell. And apparently, even though he survived many a harsh winter, specifically, I think the winter of 1888 was a very
that
bad one.
was brutal.
He had not lost any fingers or toes to frostbite.
For him,
The
oh,
leather.
sounds like a life goal.
And other than his cause of death, he appeared to be in very good health.
What was his cause of death?
I'll tell you.
Oh, lung cancer.
They did
Horse-
do an autopsy. His cause of death.
Horse fever. Wait, you're not, let us guess.
Okay, guess.
Okay, Aaron, go.
Murder.
Oh, I
Some
like
sort
that. I
of
like that.
stabbing, blunt force trauma,
Human or Yeti? Or
strangulation.
Sasquatch?
Well, maybe it was a coordinated Yeti.
I'm going to say he died of a broken heart. Officially. Actually on his autopsy.
Yep.
No, as a matter of fact, he died of mouth cancer.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
So you kind of had it.
I did.
Yes,
Initially.
from the use of chewing tobacco.
Yeah,
He had
that'll
like eaten
happen.
through his cheek. and-
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah.
Ulysses S. Grant had throat cancer from all that cigars smoking.
Yeah.
He died of that. So
Not a pleasant way to go.
probably not now. Did no one notice this on the months and years leading up to this? You know, you have kind of a hole in your cheek.
I mean, what are they gonna do about it?
Do you want to? Yeah, that's true.
Well, I'm sure it was on the inside. It didn't go all the way through.
Are you sure? It can.
I know, but I don't think
I
it
assume.
did. So he was about 50 years old.
50.
And he probably looked about 75.
Oh,
I'll
at
show you guys a
least.
picture.
Same.
So he was laid to rest at Sparta Cemetery, which is along Route 9 in Ossining.
Ah,
And
that's what the prison is.
he was given a headstone, which was engraved with final resting place of Jules Bourglet
Oh, so someone knew his name.
of Lyons,
Lyon.
France.
Huh.
Quote, the Leatherman, who regularly walked a 365-mile route through Westchester and Connecticut from the Connecticut River to the Hudson, living in caves in the years 1858 to 1889. That's a lot of engraving. That must have cost
That
a pretty
is.
penny. I don't know who paid for it.
That is. How'd they know his name?
Well, that name was attributed to an article from 1884 in the Waterbury Daily American. However, the day after his death, the Waterbury Daily American retracted that
We made it
report.
up. We didn't know you were going to put it on his grave and actually etch it in stone. Our bad.
Somebody made it up. But that headstone remained where it was placed until 2011.
His name was Pierre Napoleon. I don't know. We don't know French names. That's
They were doing construction along Route 9, which was just about 16 feet away from the grave. And they were worried about this, safety of people going to the cemetery. And I think probably a lot of people would go to his grave in particular. And so they decided that they were going to exhume his body and relocate it to a place, further away from Route 9, like in the middle of the cemetery. So it kind of became a big deal, and local historians got involved, and they thought, well, when we dig up the body, how about we can see what's left and do a little testy?
This is getting disturbing at this point. What exactly are they trying to test for?
DNA.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
DNA.
That's what
Just
it stands
to
for.
see
To
if-
see if he has any living relatives in the area or something like
And
that.
check on some theories
Okay.
about where he was from.
Oh, wait. What year is this?
Right.
2011.
Okay, so this is by they have that technology now. They can say, oh, you're the haplo. What is it? The haplo group or something like that. They say, oh, you're from Western Europe or you're from that kind of thing, right? Like Ancestry does now.
Correct.
Okay.
But, because one of the theories was, he had Native American ancestry. One theory was that his grandfather was Native American, and that's why he lived in caves.
You do know everybody in America thinks that one grandparent at least was part Native
Yeah,
American.
I know
That's
they
just-
all
it's
wrong.
universal.
But only for me, it's true.
Yeah, not me.
I'm
Turned
no
out.
Chippewa
I was
woman.
I was devastated. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, and if it doesn't show up in my DNA test, it was pretty far back.
And some people thought that he was from France originally. So a Connecticut state archaeologist named Nick Bellantoni got involved. There was also quite a little movement to not do any forensic testing on his remains. In fact, I should have written it down. There's like a website called Leave the Leatherman Alone or something like that, where they're just opposed. Like, he was a very private person during his life. If he had wanted everybody to know who he was, he would have said, hey, nice to meet you. My name's blah, blah, blah.
No, because his mouth hurt really bad from the cancer.
Well,
so maybe.
not originally.
Yes, it's freeleatherman.com, I think, is what the website they're thinking of there.
No, it's Leave Him Alone or something like that. Leave Leatherman alone. But so anyway, so, it could be 12 people for and 12 people against. I don't know how big of a deal it was.
Probably not huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, Cynthia and Nick think we should leave them alone. But Bob and Stacy, they said dig them up and test them.
Pretty
So
heated.
anyway, the state of Connecticut or whoever decided, who's ever had jurisdiction over the issue, decided they were going to go ahead and do it. So archaeologist Nick Bellantoni got his little, scraping, dusting tools down there.
Sure. No, every archaeologist listening right now is saying, no, that's spot on. Thanks, Carrie. Thanks for really
How did she
representing. Is she an expert? Is she an archaeologist? We don't know.
That's what they do.
Oh,
We've
sure.
seen them on
sure.
movies.
Yeah, that's scrapey. Yeah.
No, we saw bones. Yeah, perfectly accurate.
That was absolutely accurate. For sure was.
I'm assuming they had that grid,
Yeah, the
with
strings.
strings and everything.
Yeah, but that's only one notch removed from the grid and the strings in someone's basement for the investigating a murder, and they're actually pretty insane.
Well, anyhow, when they exhumed his grave and started doing some digging, here's what they found: some nails and a few animal bones.
Some nails in his coffin?
Presumably, maybe not. They're not entirely sure. But
Wait, hold on. They dug up his coffin.
Well, they dug up his grave.
Oh, and there's no coffin?
There's no coffin.
Yeah, maybe it decayed. Maybe they put him in like a wooden box.
Cheap pine wood, would that just completely decay?
I don't know.
In 100+ years?
I
Well
mean,
over 100
it is
years.
100.
So, yeah.
But they didn't find his bones. Just a few animal bones.
Ooh, he never died. Oh my God, he is still alive.
So shouldn't his bones still be there?
You would
Yeah, his
think.
bones should still be
After
there.
100
Sure.
years?
Oh,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, and way after.
Yeah, 120 years
Thousands
or
of
whatever.
years, yeah.
But yeah, other than that, no trace of him. So they said, okay, let's just rebury what we found.
Oh, wait a second. Was this before they allowed medical schools to work on cadavers? His body was sold to a medical school so doctors could experiment on it. I'll bet you money. That's my theory. I'm throwing it out there right now. freeleatherman.com. Test that. Ask around. Don't you think that would make sense? So they just pretend to bury. They buried like a bag of nails.
And some of the dirt where they thought this is where his body would have decomposed if it was there. And I think they did put it in another coffin or whatever. And they just reburied it for, further inside of the cemetery.
Buried dirt pretending it was him. It's not. His body was wound up on the cutting room of some illegal medical student. Damn bastards. How dare they do that to Leatherman?
Well, some of the legends that explain where he came from, one of them is that he was French and he was in love with a wealthy French heiress who maybe her father had a leather factory or something.
Sure. Perfect sense.
And he was going to marry her. And then one night, I think he was working in the factory. He was like, eventually going to take over or whatever. And he accidentally knocked over a lantern.
Absolutely.
And the factory
Killed
burnt down.
everyone. Fled the country in embarrassment
Yeah.
and chagrin.
That's one story that either her father then would not allow her to marry him or the fire killed her.
Yeah, that does not sound made up. That sounds like some solid research went into that.
And then he had to flee to America. Another legend is that maybe he was the wealthy Frenchman and he fell in love with somebody beneath his station. And
You do that.
Yeah.
And then his parents had her murdered so
Whoa.
that he wouldn't marry her.
Wow.
Logical next step.
Yeah, that
Yes.
got extreme pretty fast there.
Yes. So some people think
We don't want you to marry this rich guy. That's not the norm.
his parents.
Oh, his parents murdered her to avoid the
Yes.
scandal of marrying some commoner, Marie.
Correct.
She was Marie in either case, whether she was rich or he was rich. So, okay. I
So
buy
some
both of
people
those.
think his restless spirit still haunts the paths along
Oh.
Buckout Road.
Oh, so you're going with zombie. That's not medical school. You're going zombie. That's
No,
why there's
no,
no
that
body
would
there.
be a
Zombie.
ghost.
No, that'd be a
That's a
zombie.
ghost.
His body's not there. He's a zombie. Carrie, he got up. He dug his way out because he was a zombie. He's been eating brains on that same route ever since. That same 365-mile loop. That's how all those people who have been missing. Let's start a whole internet thing. People are shut up. Anybody who's been missing the last 100+ years, anywhere near this part of the country, they were killed by the zombie Leatherman.
There is the local historian and author of a book about the Leatherman named Dan W. DeLuca. I think he used to be a school teacher or something. He's retired. He's had a heart transplant.
Carrie, I'm not sure even Dan's wife cares about these details, but please go ahead.
I don't know if Dan's
His favorite
married.
color is green.
He likes.
I can tell you
he
more
dresses
about
in
Dan.
leather.
He's a Gemini.
But
He
now
likes
I'm
green
not going
shirts
to.
and blue jeans. He's just a normal guy.
He became very interested in the Leatherman and so did all kinds of research and has written a book, which I have not read,
But you know what the W stands for.
but I recommend it. No, I don't.
All
Wayne.
right.
It's Wayne.
But so he took the proceeds or some of the proceeds from the sale of his book to buy the coffin for the Leatherman's whatever remains or whatever was put in it, the nails and burial soil.
So you paid that entirely from the proceeds of his books? So it's like a $4 coffin, or was it? I'm kidding,
Yes.
Dan. I'm kidding, Dan.
You're
obviously.
rude. Coffins are expensive.
I know.
They are.
So
Yes.
he's in debt.
And
Sorry, Dan.
and I think he also paid for the new grave marker that now just reads the Leatherman
Oh.
instead of all those fakey fake things.
Fakey fake
Minimalist.
things.
Yeah, the fake name and all that.
Okay,
kind of
well,
stuff.
I am going to go there and carve the word zombie above the word Leatherman and make that a much better.
You'll be in trouble.
Oh.
Dan DeLuca will have you arrested if you do that.
Dan W. DeLuca. Don't mistake him with the other Dan DeLuca.
And Dan goes to the grave and he puts pennies on the grave. And I meant to look it up. What do you put pennies on the grave
Why
for?
do you put pennies in the grave? I don't know. Is that the rest of the money he got from his book sales after the coffin?
Rude. I'm going to go buy Dan's book now.
I'm kidding.
So apparently, leaving coins on a grave site is just a message to their family that somebody has visited.
And yes, listeners, Carrie literally just looked that up on her phone just right now. So it's a soldier thing, though.
That every little blurb that I saw did say soldiers.
See, we were
So-
going to go with the whole River Styx, the
that's what I
ferryman.
was
You'd put
thinking.
you'd pay him off or something
Yeah.
like that. But you know what? They're both good.
That's kind of what I thought too. Or like if the spirit comes, he might need a penny for something.
There you go. Now, you know what? That's a third option, just as solid. I like that.
I don't know.
Or if
sense.
his zombie Leatherman comes back to his grave to visit his own grave, he has some cash to buy some brains.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I was. Well, except
Not
for
brains.
that.
Okay.
There are a couple of songs written about him.
Please sing them.
One
A cappella.
by
go.
Pearl Jam.
What?
As a matter of fact,
Really?
I think it's called The Leatherman.
Okay.
Another
The
one.
man cometh.
Let's hear a little bit. I don't know. Can we?
don't know.
Damn it.
No.
I didn't look it up either. There's also a Finnish song,
Okay.
but of course, that refers to him, obviously not in English, but in Finnish, calling him the New England Leatherman.
Okay. So they thought they'd throw in and screw his name up. That's great. Great. Thank you, Finland. Appreciate that.
Was he ever in New England?
That's Connecticut's in New
Yeah.
England.
Oh.
Close enough.
Actually, literally in New England, but that's okay.
Well, is New York New England?
No.
Okay, so he spent a lot of time in New York too.
We call him the Upper Northeast Leatherman here.
Tri-state area Leatherman.
So that is about it. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting. You know, I think I've some vague, super vague, years and years ago read about that somewhere.
Yeah,
It had that little deja vu feel when you
Yeah.
first started talking
Really?
about it. Yeah.
I've never heard of it before.
Yeah, me neither.
I couldn't, I mean, like, honestly, 25 years ago. And
Yeah,
just the whole, he did that loop over and over and over
Yeah.
again for his whole life, basically. I mean,
I know.
he never really left anywhere else.
Not really his whole life.
Well, from 1858, so when he was 19 to when he died, that's most of it. Right? Didn't you say 1858 he
His
started
whole
doing
adult
that?
life.
And he was
Yeah.
born in 1839.
around there, yeah,
Or spotted first spotted in 1857, so he was 18 years old.
yeah.
Yeah. Why was he not drafted into the war? I guess they couldn't find him. He didn't have a permanent address, so they couldn't
Well, and also he
draft
wasn't
him.
American, so
Yeah.
Didn't really matter.
well, yeah. I don't know. It is interesting. I'm assuming he's French, obviously.
Yeah.
Or he could be from another European country that speaks French.
I am not French. I'm Belgium.
Yeah, he's like an Austrian, Swiss,
Nope. Nice try, though.
some parts of Italy.
And because he had the French prayer book.
Yes.
And they also think that his footwear was kind of a French style,
Oh, French leather.
which is weird.
Okay.
They
They
saw
were
it in French Vogue.
Yes, they did.
they were like wooden on the bottom, and then which can't be comfortable
No.
to walk in.
No.
I would not think. He also carried around a bag that had leatherworking equipment in it, like scissors and awls, wedges, a small axe, an
And he
extra
had-
axe head.
Didn't he have an Aeropostale T-shirt, I believe, or a backpack, I think, right?
Yeah.
And they thought, that sounds French.
Oh yeah,
That's
he's
my understanding.
Definitely
Anyway.
French.
But also that bag would be heavy.
That
and
would.
He carried that with him
Yeah.
wherever he went.
And he carried inside of it his subscription to Oui magazine was another indication of his French.
So anyhow,
He subscribed to Le Monde,
that's
I
my
believe.
interesting story.
Thank you,
of
Carrie.
The
of
Leatherman.
The Leatherman.
Yeah, and I'll post a picture of it for you guys. You guys want you want to see a picture so you can talk about it?
Yeah.
And I am going to actually probably title it The Zombie Leatherman just to piss you off.
Not nice.
Well, what do you mean not nice? It's almost a certainty given the fact his body was not in the grave. It has to have been a zombie.
I know it is weird that that there was nothing there, don't you think?
It is weird.
Maybe someone took it.
Well,
Like
that's
a
what
grave robber.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, to sell to a medical college.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was still happening then, wasn't
Well,
it?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, his mouth
shit. What
does
year
look
is
pretty
that?
messed up.
Oh, so that's got to
doesn't
be right before he died then, isn't it?
it? Yeah, I think so.
Wow, that outfit looks
His
so
fingers
thick.
look puffy, like he's got high sodium levels.
He does. Well, all those crackers.
But yeah, that is a look.
Fancy
I want
crackers.
those pants.
Yeah,
Those pants look like they weigh 100 pounds by themselves. Super thick.
they do.
Yeah.
That's
I like the hat,
look.
though. The hat's cool. Does he have like a crutch? Is that a crutch or
It's
a cane or something? Okay.
It just looks like a walking stick. But yeah, his mouth does look very messed up.
Oh, yeah. Somebody was.
yeah, there's
Yeah,
tumors.
that's
Yeah.
not good. It's not a good look. He looks
Yeah.
angry.
So you'd think when they took him into the hospital, they would have done something about that.
No.
But
Really can't.
Cost
I
money.
think his hands look normal. His hands look
Well,
fine.
we think he has a sodium buildup, so
Yeah, if he put a ring on, he wouldn't be able to get it
never
off.
get off. Well, thanks, Carrie, for
Yeah.
the story of the Leatherman, the wandering
You're welcome.
French person who became eventually a zombie and ate brains, is how we're going to
Oh, see,
describe
here's
that.
a picture of him. He must be a little bit younger.
Yeah, he is.
That hair looks French as
thinking.
fuck.
He may have just taken his hat off, and otherwise, no, yeah, that
No,
is a
'cause look at
French
His
beard.
mouth looks way
Yeah.
better.
That's true. You know, his beard is fairly decently coiffed. I'm going to
Yeah.
support him and come to his defense on that, Carrie.
Yeah.
You said it wasn't earlier. I think his beard looks great. Looks better than most people you would see in a microbrew right now today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your beard is dry as fuck.
Or people who use the pandemic as a reason to never touch a hair on their
Yeah,
head.
that doesn't make a lot of sense.
You know who you are.
Yeah, I cut my own hair, bitch. Does it look good? No. But hey,
I cut my hair a lot, and I got to tell you, this last time I cut my hair is the best haircut I've ever had.
I love it.
She
Well,
just insulted everyone.
I don't know about
She
you,
just
but I'm
sounded both.
perfect.
She's both sounded a little bit arrogant there, and she's insulted an entire class of salonists. Is that a word? Thanks a lot, Carrie.
Hairstylist?
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
I mean, you know,
Is
always-
Supercut's going to sponsor us now? I doubt it,
they've
Carrie.
done
So
what I
you
asked them
fucked
to
up
do.
our great clip
Really did.
sponsorship.
Thanks.
I never said put my hair in a ponytail and just cut it off.
You never said that?
No.
Try it.
If
Next
they had
time,
done
see.
that, then they would have given me a great haircut like I did to myself.
Floby.
You are not supposed to do that.
This is wrong.
That's how I did. Look it up. There's
no,
all kinds of
we're
videos
not going to look it up, Carrie.
of women putting their hair in
We're
ponytails.
decent human beings. We're not going to do
And
that.
they tell you if you're going for this look, do your ponytail this way.
Okay. All right. This podcast has veered into a self-cutting pot. Wait, hold on. All right. Thank you, Carrie, for the story of the Leatherman, the
You're
zombie
welcome.
Leatherman. We will get you next time. No, it's not good. Well, you know what I mean.
Thanks for listening, Deborah D.
Okay. Just Deborah.
Just Deborah.
Everybody else, go fuck yourself. But Deborah
No,
D.
that's not true.
Okay. All right.
This is dedicated to Deborah.
And
If you
no
give us
one
a
else.
good review or send us an email, you'll be next.
Are you talking to everybody now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
No, that's just for Deborah.
Just, all right. No one else. Bye.
Bye.